Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Carshénah with versefilmsproductions and we're doing SCREAMTOBER. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining. We're going to start off our first week of SCREAMTOBER with our decade horror. Every day this week, we're going to go over a decade. So we're going to start with the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then we're going to round off the week with our versus horror. And our versus horror, we're going to pit the best streaming of horror against each other. So we'll have Tubi versus YouTube, Amazon Prime versus HBO Max, and then we're going to end off with Netflix versus Roku channel. Hey everyone, let's go ahead and get this first week of SCREAMTOBER off to a good start. Let's start with the 1970s. So in this decade, we're giving you some of the most popular names that you may know, you may have to revisit. So let's check them out. Number one on our list, and we're going down in chronological order. Number one on our list is The House That Dripped Blood, 1971.
A Scotland Yard investigator looks into 4 mysterious cases involving an unoccupied house. 1, a hack novelist encounters a strangler who's the villain of his books. 2, 2 men are obsessed with the wax figure of a woman from their past. 3, a little girl with a stern widowed father displays an interest in witchcraft. And 4, an arrogant horror film actor purchases a black cloak which gives him a vampire's powers.
Up next is Blacula, 1972.
An 18th century African statesman is transformed into a vampire, cursed with the name Blacula and entombed in Dracula's castle. 200 years later, his coffin is transported to LA, where he awakes with an unquenchable thirst for human blood. As Blacula pursues a woman who resembles his long-dead wife, her brother-in-law, a pathologist, investigates the string of carnage that follows in the vampire's wake.
Following that, Scream, Blacula Scream, 1973.
After an aging voodoo priestess dies, her arrogant son Willis Daniels believes he is next in line to lead. He is outraged when Lisa, his mother's adopted apprentice, is chosen as the leader. Willis seeks revenge by reviving the African prince Blacula, but soon finds that he cannot control him.
We're going to continue on this list, The Vault of Horror, 1973.
An anthology of 5 horror stories shared by 5 men trapped in the basement of an office building. 5 strangers board a descending lift one by one in a modern office in London. No buttons to bring it back, nor any other exit. The conversation turns to dreams, and each man tells of a recurring nightmare.
The Exorcist, 1973.
A visiting actress in Washington, D.C. notices dramatic and dangerous changes in the behavior and physical makeup of her 12-year-old daughter. Meanwhile, a young priest at nearby Georgetown University begins to doubt his faith while dealing with his mother's terminal sickness. When a 12-year-old girl is possessed by a mysterious entity, her mother seeks the help of 2 priests to save her. Up next, Trilogy of Terror, 1975. 3 stories interwoven together. The first, about a college student infatuated with his teacher. The second, a paranoid tale of 2 sisters, one good, the other evil. And the third, about a Native American tribal Zuni doll that comes to life and terrorizes a woman in her apartment.
Up next, we have The Stepford Wives, 1975.
The Stepford Wives is about a small suburb where the women happily go about their housework, cleaning, doing laundry, and cooking gourmet meals to please their husbands. Unfortunately, Bobby and Joanna discover that the village's wives have been replaced with robots, and Joanna's husband wants in on the action. Joanna discovers there lies a sinister truth in the all-too-perfect behavior of the female residents.
Up next, Carrie, 1976.
High school senior Carrie White is a social outcast, largely due to being unwise to the ways of the world based on her upbringing. Her mother, Margaret White, is a religious fanatic. The only adult who tries to help Carrie with her life is her phys ed teacher, Miss Collins, and another student, Sue Snell. Carrie White is a shy, friendless teenage girl who is sheltered by her domineering religious mother, unleashes her telekinetic powers after being humiliated by her classmates at her senior prom.
Then we have The Omen, 1976.
Robert and Catherine Thorne seem to have it all. They are happily married and he is the U.S. ambassador to Great Britain. But they want nothing more to have children. After relocating to London, strange events and the ominous warnings of a priest lead him to believe that the child he took from the Italian hospital is evil incarnate. Mysterious deaths surround an American ambassador. Could the child that he is raising actually be the Antichrist? The devil's own son? You have been warned.
Last but not least, Suspiria, 1977.
Susie Banyan travels to Germany to perfect her ballet skills. She arrives at the Tanz Dance Academy. Susie becomes ill and is put on a special diet. A bit of research indicates that the ballet school was once a witch's coven. Susie realizes that the school is a front for something sinister.
Thank you guys so much for watching our 1970s decade horror. Again, this is just a small snippet of some of the horror films that came out, some of the most popular horror films that came out. So we encourage you to watch them or revisit them if you have not seen them in a long time. But these are some of our favorites right here on our channel. So make sure that you subscribe, like, and share, and we'll see you tomorrow.